album 17 fucking times. Only by the grace of God through Chef. And the guy didn't.
需要帮忙吗？
不用，我弄好了。
但是你的脸色好像……
我说了不用。
It really shows what mental illness and what people are doing to the world, the feminization of men. This is a perfect allegory of it, where we're telling men they can't be men anymore and that women have to become the breadwinners rather than working equally. This is a perfect allegory for that, where he feels like he's not all that of a man and he's doing the caretaking things of the house, and it's weighing down on him because everybody's saying he needs a job, and he's trying. And you could feel it, that you could feel he was under pressure, but really this small little cut on his hand, at first I was like, how does the hand bleed that much? And why doesn't he put a Band-Aid on it? But it really gets at the whole symbolism of this film about the world weighing down on this poor guy and everybody coming at him at all angles. We'll say I learned something new. I didn't know tomatoes helped with menstrual cramps. So, and I even Googled it, and it's true. I never knew that. Certainly nothing the doctors ever tell us. But it's one of those things where it all comes in, where the idea of bad blood, and it kind of puts it all together between men and women and what people think and how the pressures of the world are really coming down on us. And this film, just with that symbolism alone, makes it stand out and is an absolutely amazing film.
Definitely, making a statement about, how men perceive themselves in today's world. And yeah, there's a lot of showing of just kind of a male weakness. He's degraded by his parents. He feels weak next to this date of his, and he's bleeding out, but it's all in his mind. Yeah, so it's an interesting statement about just ego and perceived masculinity and what it really is and how it's really degrading to us. So it's a nicely made film, good idea, nicely executed. The actors did a good job, good script, nicely edited, well directed.
I like how we are introduced to the character with this conversation with his mom and his voice, and we don't really see his face much or really until the female character comes in. So it's sort of this, he's sort of cut off, or we see maybe only a portrait, but we don't truly see him until a little bit into the short. So that was a very unique intro of him. The ending is a surprise. I suppose it's a relief that the main character was not really, bleeding or having this physical effect, but was having some sort of hallucination, although he's not suffering physically. So I like how that was showed at the end, and I think that was very well covered up, especially with the tomato juice and the cutting and everything. You sort of assume that something was wrong with him, but it was very well hidden and put under place.
I enjoyed the lighting being very moody and dark. The color editing makes the scene turquoise with some orange, red lighting compared to the whiteness of the bathroom lighting, which happens to be where most of the blood shows, so it pops out to the watchers. I think the relationship between the man and everyone is developed in a way that makes him a failure and different from everyone else, like a black sheep and outcast. His mom making sure he takes care of his wife, and his dad calling him a failure. His wife reminding him of his job interview and not paying attention to him overfilling her plate, which comes off odd to me. It's this need for everyone to constantly harass him until his breaking point, in which we see with his pained facial expressions, which really start in the beginning of the film and never changes. I also like the frame dimensions. It's a very unsettling, strange, and odd piece with all the blood and character personalities.
Devolution, or like slow spiral that he started on, where it started off kind of normal, like he had a cut, he was kind of looking at it, not really paying attention, distracted by other things, and then like the blood got more, his paranoia about it got more, his level of like freaking out got more, and it just kind of spiraled and took on like a whole life of its own that spiraled so far from what the initial contact was, which was the initial cut. And even before that, though, you got this great, like, insight into his state of mind and to, you know, how he probably thought of himself with the voicemail that you heard, and then just kind of like how he was interacting with like picking up the tomato off the floor and like tearing it open. I really, really liked it. I thought it was really, really intriguing. I thought it was really, really well done because it didn't feel overly rushed or overly dramatic. It felt very like I said, his spiral, his like devolving into this situation more and more and more didn't feel like overly rushed.
The performances of the leads were excellent. The harried husband in an apron having a hard time getting a job, and the competent wife in her red high-heel shoes. You could really sense the husband's panic and depression not living up to his father's standards. The close-up camera work of his knives and food were so well done, and the shots of his deep cut in his hand and the gushing blood were terrifying. I had a real visceral reaction to this scene. The pace, direction, and editing were so professional and stylish.
I loved the cinematography. I thought that it was really, really nice acting, and I thought that the story was really good.